Hey, what's up? I'm Alex, and today I've got another great budget deck for anyone who's looking to start playing Standard on PTCGO. This deck has been super consistent for me, and I'd recommend it for anyone who's looking for a cheap deck that has the potential to take dubs. And so the deck is single prize Tapu Bulu with the battle style Cherrim to help us power up our attackers. My initial thought was to name this deck Tapu Rim, but that sounds kind of weird. So I'm going to call it Tempura for no reason other than sushi gives me the same feeling and the same endorphin rush that playing with this deck gives me. So, Tempura. Basically, we attack with Tapu Bulu, whose Nature's Judgment attack does 80 damage plus another 80 if you discard all energies attached to this Pokemon. Of course, discarding all your energy turn after turn is about as sustainable as promoting your YouTube channel on Reddit, only for your posts to get taken down, for self-promotion, and for you to be sad for the rest of the day. So to fuel our Bulu's attacks, we play a 4-3 line of Cherrim from Battle Styles, which lets you attach grass energy from your hand as many times as you like to your Pokemon without a rule box. That means no Vs, no GXs, no Prism Stars. We also play a huge 14 grass energy to be able to consistently stream attacks, as well as 2 Jirachi and 1 Oricorio-GX to help give us additional draw support. These 2 cards are of course, on the higher end of the price scale, and will probably set you back maybe a pack a piece. But I think if you want to consistently win games, it's really hard to find a substitute for this kind of draw support. Speaking of draw support, we play 4 Research, 4 Marnie, and 2 Bruno to guarantee we can always find energy when we need, as well as 2 Great Balls, 4 Level Balls, 4 Quick Balls, and 2 Pokemon Communication to get us attacking as soon as possible. We also have 2 Switch and 2 Air Balloon to give us pivot options, and 2 bosses for those juicy, bench-sitting rats and bats. We also have 1 Energy Recycler and 2 Ordinary Rod to help us keep our Bulus and our energies when we need them. Honestly, the biggest strength of this deck is its consistency, and even though its power cap isn't super high, most of the time you stand a chance because, well, we have a lot of decks in this current standard format that have consistency issues. Anyway, that's the deck. Let's get into some games. I actually recorded this same intro about an hour ago, and I recorded some games, but I realized my microphone wasn't on. So instead of live commentary, I'm going to give you some voiceovering because I played in some really exciting games. Yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into some games. Alright. So our first game here is against Mr. Vico007, 007. He does look like a spy, and I think in my original commentary I talked about this for a while. I made a bit out of it, how he looked really intimidating and all that. He doesn't actually look that intimidating now that I'm looking on it with fresh eyes. He just kind of looks like his mustache is a smile. He kind of looks like Pac-Man, but anyway. I'm flaming. Don't flame because if you're looking at my face cam right now, you'll notice that my words do not line up. That's my initial commentary, but I actually didn't have my microphone on. So yeah, instead, this is my method for delivering content. So this Shadow Rider game starts out pretty well. You can see we have our pivot, we have our Jirachi, always starting Jirachi is really good. We also have our Cherubi turn 1. We're going to go ahead and Quick Ball. We're going to discard the Mew because the Mew doesn't really help us in this matchup, and of course we grab another Cherubi because what we're doing is we're anticipating the Horror House play, right? And so what he's going to do, what we think he's going to do, is he's going to Horror House, GX, and he's going to Poltergeist, right? We don't have enough, like, our supporters can't get discarded out of our hand, right? So we can't hope to contain how much damage he's doing. And we grab the energy here. I think we grab the energy here so that we have the flexibility of either attaching to the Jirachi, right, and having, you know, a guaranteed retreat, which is good, or we could also top deck a Bulu, and we could have an attachment. And he actually passes. He passes without giving a Horror House, which I think is a slight misplay. I think the extra 7 cards, or the extra card for us, wouldn't have been great, but I think the reason that he did that, the reason that he passed without Horror Housing is because he needs the second effect, right? He needs the second effect because he's kind of dead drawing, you know, maybe he doesn't have too good of a hand. We find the Bulu off the Research, as well as 2 energies, which means that all we need to do is find an energy off the Dreamy Rev, because we have the Switch. But yeah, I think he needs the draw off of the Horror House, which is why he decided not to do that. But that also gives us some really good tempo, because we have a free turn basically to set up. I'm not really sure why I quick balled away the switch there. That seems kind of like a misplay. Oh, but I have the attachment on the Jirachi, so I guess it's kind of inconsequential. Yeah, we attached to the Bulu. I realized then that it's a misplay to attach without knowing that we guaranteed the attack. I think we'd rather keep that in our hand until we know we have the second or the third energy. But since we made that misplay, we're going to just attach to the second Bulu because, we're spreading our energy. He can't boss KO the Bulu. That means that if he has a boss KO next turn, I think his preferred target is probably the Cherrim because we don't have a second Cherrim out. Yeah, like I said, though, what he's going to do, I think he top-decked that research. I'm pretty sure he top-decked that research because there's otherwise it would be a blatant misplay to not Horror House there. So that's what we're going to see from him. He drops a Chaotic Swell, which doesn't really affect us because we don't have any counter stadiums anyway. If you want, you could play like maybe a copy of Path to the Peak in this deck, and he Horror Houses, right? And so we're not going to have anything to do on our turn. We're going to Dreamy Rev because, that's good. It's always good to get the extra energy. I think we probably Spring Bloom this to the Tapu Bulu, just because, no reason not to, I think. And so he's going to be able to Poltergeist. And so I think what I was talking about a lot is whether or not this Shadow Rider had 320 HP. And I kind of thought maybe it had 330, maybe it had, if it had 330, right, we'd have a lot tougher of a time because, the same reason that this deck doesn't play very well against Eternatus is that we don't two-shot Eternatus, right? But since it's 320, our preferred route to victory here is Gengar, Mimikyu, and whatever Shadow Rider they send up, because we can two-shot, right? And so because we can two-shot, right, because we can win in 4 attacks, that means we're able to drop the Oricorio without too much fear of, losing because of it, because we should have tempo if we play it right. I think we have discarded a boss's orders at this point. I'm not sure. But the big thing here is that we only play 2 boss's orders, right? So if he starts switching around his attackers, right, and he attacks with like fresh Calirexes every turn, we're not going to be able to win because we're not going to be able to. And that boss goes for the Cherrim, he goes for the Poltergeist there, which I think is a misplay. I think I would have taken out the Jirachi. I think maybe, did I just say, I think I might have just said that I would have knocked out the Cherrim, but actually on second thought, I think the Jirachi probably is the better knockout. So yeah, what I'm talking about here is that we have potential draw 12 if we want, right? We can Bruno, and we can, we have the guaranteed Cherrim. And what we need is we need an attachment, and we'd like to have the boss in our hand, right, for the follow-up. The choice that we're trying to make here is whether or not we research or we Bruno, and since we top-deck the boss's orders, we're going to Bruno, because we don't want to discard that. That's our last boss's orders, and we need that to win the game. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We have draw 7 off of the Bruno, and then we have draw 3 off the Oricorio, and you see we draw into all the energy we need. We're going to Dance of Tribute just because we have access to it. We're going to Dreamy Rev, and what we're digging for here is the pivot, right? We're digging for the Air Balloon, because Air Balloon would be really good here. We don't grab the Cherrim, we leave the Cherrim. That might be a minor misplay. Of course, we want to play around the Marnie. And if we Marnie ourselves into, the Marnie, that might be a little bit better than getting Marnied into a Cherrim, but, it's okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the hit here. So we get the hit here. He doesn't have a second, he doesn't have a follow-up attacker set up, right? So what he needs is an energy for the Calyrex with 2 energies on it, and he needs the evolution. Right, this Great Ball is going to go looking for it, but you'll see that he doesn't actually find it. Right, he's faced with a choice. He's probably just gonna. He doesn't grab anything. So he has the energy. Right, he Underworld Doors, and he probably has a supporter, and he's looking for this VMAX, because if he can find the VMAX and he can get the knockout here, he won't have to leave the Gengar Mimikyu in the active, you know, and then he's in a much better spot. And so he attaches to the Calyrex because he attaches to the Calyrex because he needs to thin out his hand for the Crobat. The Crobat sees him 3 new cards, right? He could still be looking for, you know, a research or some kind of draw supporter. But the thing is, if he doesn't find the VMAX and he has to attack with the Gengar Mimikyu, that's really good for us because we can get the return knockout, and then he's going to boss up the Oricorio now, which is okay. It's a little bit less than we'd rather he knocked out the Tapu Bulu, but you know, it's fine. We planned for this. It's okay, because we're going to take 3 prizes now. He's going to have to attack with the Calyrex, right? And if he leaves a Calyrex VMAX in the active, we can just hit the follow-up knockout, or hit the follow-up half hit, right? And then we can win with the 1 boss we have left in our deck. Even though we have a boss discarded, right, we still have enough resources to be able to pull it off if we can draw into it. And, you know, maybe we can grab the Oricorio with an Ordinary Rod play later, and, you know, we're set. So we have the attack here. I think I'm debating whether or not we research or we Marnie. And we're going to, before we research, we're going to drop the Bulu, because the 3 prize cards left means that he has to go through 3 Bulus. I think my rationale here was that the only other thing we'd need that bench space for would be the Oricorio, and we don't want to drop the Oricorio before he has 1 prize card left because we don't want to give him a quicker route to victory. So we're going to take the knockout here, and you'll notice that we have everything we need to, aside from like the energy, right? We still need energy for the follow-up attacker after our next attacker, but we have the boss, right? And the boss is really important. So we take the knockout here, we take our 3 prize cards, we hope for an energy, we see a switch. I think this is a level ball. No, it's an energy. And the energy is really good, right? Seeing the energy off the prize cards is really good. It alleviates some of the tension, or some of the stress of having to find more energy, because now we only need 1 more energy for us to close out the game, and we need the boss. Right, and we have the Ordinary Rod off of the, I think that was off of the prize cards. No, that wasn't off the prize cards. We just had the Ordinary Rod. And the Ordinary Rod can get us back 2 energies in the Oricorio. So he's, right, you'll notice he has the pivot, right? He's not set up this Shadow Rider to attack. And so he's going to retreat into the one that has the energy. He'll be attacking with this one. The Marnie kind of hurts here, right? The Marnie kind of hurts here because our hand was really good. I think in hindsight, since we weren't discarding the energy off the Tapu Bulu for the attack, I think it would have been better. And you'll notice we finally found the Air Balloon after lots of looking for it. I think it would have been better to attach the energy, right? Because the reason you don't attach the energy there is because maybe you discard the energy off the active and then you have a Bulu with 3 energy on the bench, right? And they're just able to boss it and take away your 3 energy. We find the Energy Recycler here, which is really good. We're just going to use that because it shuffles our deck, right? It also puts energy back in, but the big thing is that it shuffles our deck, which means the boss that was at the bottom of the deck from the Marnie is no longer at the bottom of the deck. And you can see we find it because it got shuffled back in. We also find the Ordinary Rod, so we can go add the Oricorio, and they just concede, right? I think the concession was a little bit unwarranted because we still had the win, right? Like we still had to work for the win. But I think we're happy that they conceded because it would have been a lot of work. But I think we still could have done it because we had the Ordinary Rod for the Oricorio, and yeah. So let's get into the next game here. So this is our second game here. You see our opponent has Worlds 2013 sleeves, which if you're not hip to the to the outstandingly ostentatious cosmetics market in Pokemon, you'll know, if you are hip to it, you'll know that Worlds 2013 sleeves or gear is regarded as some of the most hype. You know, it's like it looks really cool. So I'm a little scared, right? These sleeves are making me scared. Also, his mulligan at the beginning had a lot of iced out cards. He was playing a lot of rainbow rares, a lot of secret rares. So yeah, that's my mindset going into this game. Is I'm kind of a little bit terrified. You know, the guy looks like an anime villain, and you know that's just kind of scary. And so he flips over his active, and we see it's a Galarian Slowking V, right? And so Galarian Slowking V. Also, our starting hand is really good. We have the Level Ball for the Cherubi. But we don't have a draw supporter, which kind of sucks. But yeah, his Galarian Slowking V is the VMAX does, you know, poison damage, and it knocks you out with poison damage, and it does a lot of poison damage. And it does enough to one-hit knock out our Tapu Bulus. But there's kind of a cringe moment coming up, not during this turn, but I think during the next, where I don't realize that because we get knocked out by poison, right? We actually don't have access to our Oricorio. And I was under this pretense or this like assumption that we'd have access to our Oricorio, when we actually don't, because his attack max Toxify, right? Oricorio says if it's knocked out during your opponent's last turn, right? It's like the time between turns is called Pokemon Checkup, or you know whatever it's called, and it's actually not considered part of your opponent's turn, so we don't actually get the draw off the Oricorio. So he gets the max Toxify here, and I'm thinking, okay, sure, that's good because we've got draw 3, but we actually don't. And so I promote this Bulu with the assumption, and we top deck the Marnie, which is, you know, insanely busted. That's just, you know, luck at its finest, because otherwise there's no reason that this game would have been in the video. I just wouldn't have added it in. We grabbed the Jirachi because I think the Jirachi is a cool pivot, and up until this point, I still think that we have access to the Oricorio. And I click it, but no Dance of Tribute. And you see my face, I'm like, oh, that's bad. But the thing is, we Marnied into such a good hand that we still have the knockout, and we have we grab the Jirachi out the quick ball, so if he gets the return knockout, we have the Jirachi. But at this point, it's looking pretty bleak, because if he does the max Toxify again, you know, we're in a bad spot, because we still can't Dance of Tribute, we have a really low hand, and we need to find research off of the Jirachi Dreamy Rev, because that's our only draw support. And what I'm thinking at this point is maybe he misplays, right? You'll notice that he has the Scroll of Scorn on his big Slowking, and I'm thinking maybe he misplays. Maybe he without realizing that I don't have access to my Oricorio, maybe instead of max Toxify, he does the Furious Fists or whatever it's called, right? And that's pretty much our only hope, right? Outside of, you know, top decking insanely off of that Dreamy Revelation, that's our only hope. We need him to misplay, and there you'll see I'm scrolling over it, because otherwise we just don't have anything, right? We don't have anything going for us. We don't have, you know, a follow-up attacker. We don't have the return knockout, and he's just going to run through our Pokemon, and we've already dropped the 2-prizer, so, you know, we're in a bad spot because of that. And he Furious Angers. He misplays, and instead of max Toxify, he goes with Furious Anger, because I think he's probably thinking, let's play it safe, let's make sure we're knocking him out, instead of, you know, and he misplays. And so we quick ball, we do some thinning, we grab the Tapu Bulu, and we just bench the Tapu Bulu, and we get an insane draw off this Dance of Tribute, right? That's the only thing we can do, is we can just hope that we get an insane draw. An insane draw we get. 3 energies. And that's like the best hand you could have asked for, but we still need more, right? We need to Dreamy Rev into either the pivot or more energy, or a draw support. And we get the research. And you see my reaction. It's so insane, right? Little small thing here is when you're offered the choice between research or Bruno there, my rationale is that you grab the research because you're guaranteed to research into the Bruno because you're not shuffling your deck, right? You can't Bruno into the research, because, Bruno shuffles your deck. So I do that, and we get this switch, which is insane. So we have the return knockout on his Slowking, and we really don't deserve to be in this game, because he just matches up so well into our draw support. He has the perfect kind of like just off meta deck that would do really well against us. But we still, regardless, we get the return knockout. And, we get our 3 prize cards, and now our route to victory is just really clear. We just have to knock out another VMAX. And we know he's going to attack with, the next Slowking. And we just have to get a knockout on its VMAX. And we can do it because we have the boss, and we have 2 bosses in our deck. And, same kind of close to the same thing that happened with the other game, is we just need to get a hit on him while he's still in the active position, and then we can just chase him with boss for game. That Marnie there kind of hurts because, we had guaranteed draw support, but we also do need a lot of energy, right? So we'll take any extra draw we can get that will give us a lot of energy. And again, we draw into everything we need. We draw into the research. A small detail here is I was talking about how I thought it might have been like a low-key strat to include single strike cards in your deck just in case you go up against a deck with Tower of Darkness. And I didn't realize that I actually do have single strike cards in my deck because the Bruno is a single strike card, right? So we have an extra draw too because of the Tower of Darkness. And I'm considering here who to promote, and I end up going with the Jirachi, right? And I go with the Jirachi because he's Marnied a hand to the bottom of the deck that was like 10 cards deep that didn't have a single air balloon. And so I think we have really good odds of drawing into an air balloon, and we need a lot. We need a lot to be able to, pull off the attack. So we're gonna do that, and we find the air balloon off of the Bruno, which is really clutch. We Spring Bloom. Now we just need an energy off of the research, and now we're free. Right? I didn't do the quick ball before. I did the Tower of Darkness because I wanted to make sure that we had, our best chances at finding the air balloon. But since we found the air balloon, we're good, and we just get an insane hand off of this. Right? What I'm thinking here is that, if we could find, and we don't find it, but if we could find Ordinary Rod, or if we could find Energy Recycler, that'd be good, because that would get our energy back into the deck. We still, and our win con at this point is now just find a boss before he wins, and find an energy, find an attachment before he wins. And we really have no business being in this game, right? We have the 2 energy for the follow-up attack, and I think I probably go with not Spring Blooming this for the same reason that I didn't do it accidentally, that I misplayed and didn't do it last turn because, or last game, because, right, that just makes the bench Bulu a target, right, they can boss that and they can knock it out, and we're just wiped clean of energies. But yeah, now he realizes that he can't just attack with the Slowking, he has to attack with his Urshifu. But you'll notice he has 3 energy in play. He has 3 of a single strike energy in play, and he apparently doesn't have it, right? And what he goes with here is he goes with a Marnie, right? And there's the Marnie, and it's actually because he Tower of Darkness into the single strike energy, right? And you can't use the Houndoom attack, and you can't get off like the impact blow or the Urshifu attack or whatever, because the Houndoom needs to go from the deck. So he Marnies, he gets the energy back into the deck, and now he needs the attachment, right? And if he gets the attachment, we're in a tough spot because we don't have, we don't have the boss in our hand. We still need to find 2 more energy. And he comes and he finds the VMAX, but he doesn't, curiously enough, he's doing all this thinning, and he finds the Dedenne, and he hasn't single strike roared yet, right? And I think he's good. Yeah, he does it here, right, to guarantee that he gets it and he doesn't actually accidentally draw into it again. But now he has to Dedenne. He has to Dede change into an energy. And we have no business in being in this game, but we just need a little bit more luck to go our way. if we want to win and we want to punish this guy for misplaying. And he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it, and he passes. And we top deck the boss. So now we're in a position where we're kind of at a stalemate because I don't have a draw supporter, and he didn't have the attack. So, right, we're good. We're fine if we can find the attack and if we can keep our boss in our hand. And we know he can't win next turn because the Oricorio is only worth 2 prize cards. Right, he can do the boss KO, but he's still left with one left. But what we're doing here is we're maximizing our chances of finding energy. And so we're using the Energy Recycler, we're using the Ordinary Rod. We put 7 energy back into our deck doing so. And what I'm considering here is whether or not I want to push down. But I think because he didn't have the attachment next turn, and because the Houndoom doesn't have the option of being a pivot, right, because he doesn't have an air balloon, he doesn't have like another energy already attached to it, he has to either find an energy or find a switch or find an air balloon to get it out of the active. And I don't want to give that to him. So I go against pushing down here. And I just attach to the bench Bulu because if he has the boss, I think he'd rather boss the Oricorio than bossing the Bulu. So I think it's a relatively safe attachment to the bench Bulu. Right, what he needs to do here is he needs to get the switch, and if he like attaches to the Houndoom, and he doesn't have the switch, right? If he attaches to the Houndoom, we know he can't single strike Roar because all of his single strike energies are accounted for. So if he attaches to the Houndoom, we know he doesn't have it, and he evolves the other Houndoom, and he's really slow playing. And he attaches to the Houndoom. He attaches to the Houndoom, so he doesn't have the attack this turn, which is insane, right? That's crazy. He can't attack with the Slowking because we knock out the Slowking. And we top deck a Marnie, right? So I know that he can't win next turn. So my decision is whether or not to hold the boss's orders or, Marnie. And I ultimately go with Marnieing. And there it is. Because I think it's, I still have a chance to thin out the deck and give ourselves the best chance at finding the energy and finding the boss. We still have a second boss in the deck, and this is insane. And this draw is insane because we have the Bruno to Tower of Darkness away. We have extra draw. We have the switch into the Jirachi, which is something that we didn't have before, right? Because we'd rather have the Jirachi active because we want to have as much draw as possible to find our boss. So. And then we also find 2 energies, which gives us the guaranteed attack, assuming that they don't boss KO our Bulu. And we go with that first. And we Dreamy Rev, and I think we find an energy off this. Yeah. So we have draw 6 for next turn if he doesn't knock out the Oricorio to find our boss. And so we have 2 bosses left in the deck, 14 card deck. And I think we have just above, we've got I think a little bit better than half and half odds of finding it. So yeah, I think we go with attaching the energy here because we don't want the energy clogging up the deck. And we'd also, we'd like to keep the energy out of the deck. And actually what I go with here is that push down play I was talking about from earlier is now safe to do because we don't want to open up his bench, right? He's bench locked right now, and so we don't take the easy KO on the Houndoom, right? We don't want to give him the option of, switching. So we push down, right? We don't want him to be able to Dedenne or Crobat if he has it. So we push down. And he promotes, I think, I'm getting ahead of myself here because it hasn't happened yet. And there it is. And he promotes the Urshifu. And so we think he has the attachment here, right? But if he has the attachment, it's a little bit too late. There's the impact energy. So he's going to get a knockout on whatever he wants. He doesn't have it on the Oricorio right now because he doesn't have, enough. He doesn't do enough damage to knock out the 170, but he does do enough to knock out the Bulu, right? And there it is. So we have our top deck, a Dance of Tribute, and a Dreamy Revelation to find a Boss's Orders and game. And so we top deck, it's not the top deck. And we're going to quick ball away the research, you know, just because we want to thin as much as we can. I think we have a Cherubi still left in the deck. You know, that's one less card we want to draw into. And we quick ball. And we thin the Cherubi. And we have 2 bosses left in the deck. 2 bosses, draw 5. It's a misplay here to Spring Bloom, but I think I was just, you know, riled up by the nerves. You actually don't want to do that there. And we Dance of Tribute. And we don't find it. And we don't find it. So it's all on this Dreamy Revelation. If we find the boss, we win. And there it is. There it is. We find the boss. You see my hyped reaction. I really wish you could have heard my original commentary for this because I was hype. We take the win against my opponent's single strike assortment with Galarian, Slowking, rapid or single strike Urshifu, Houndoom, the whole mix, and just an insane game. We got bailed out so many times. It's so exciting. We really had no business at all. But you know, we stood the course. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the video if you like, or subscribe to the channel if you like the content, like the video, you know, whatever. And thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.